Welcome! In this video we will look at creating CGI web applications with the PowerBasic Console Compiler. Now, since today we're going to be doing some web development using the PowerBasic Console Compiler, the first thing we need is to set up a web server on another computer. Now, I'm going to be using the Abyss personal web server today, and I'll put the links to this in the description below. This is a free version and very easy to set up. And we will install this one as a Windows service, and that's it, it's in. And we will just configure it for our use. Now, the main configuration screen, for what we're doing today, there's only one thing we have to actually set up. And we're just going to take the defaults that's set up. It's setting up port 80 as the default port. You can set other ports up, but we'll go for the default port 80. We will take the default location for the web server, which in this case is in here. And what we're going to create in here is we're going to create a new folder to contain our CGI applications. Then all we have to do is go into our scripting parameters page, and in the script paths we will enter in the path. And now we've actually changed the entry. We just have to OK that, press restart, and our web server will restart. Right, OK. Now we'll go back to our original machine. We will launch our browser. And there we go. Now, this isn't a secured website, but as it's only a personal web server, that's fine. It has successfully connected with Quad 2, which is a machine we had our web server set up on, and we can now replace the standard index HTML file with one of our choosing. So that's our website set up. Now all we have to do is to write a CGI application. Now, in order to test out our CGI applications, I've created an index HTML landing page which I've put onto the web server, and this is fairly generic, setting up just a title on the page and a footer on the page, but the key line in here is this one here. What we've got in here is effectively a link, or will be a link, to our first CGI application. As you can see, the application is in the CGI bin folder, and we've named the application pbcgi testapp1.exe. Now, we'll run this initially with no parameters, and we'll add the parameters later. So if we looked at this in the browser right now, what we would see is this. The link at the moment will not return anything because we have not yet created it. So let's go to the console application and create it. This is our application. Now we're going to be saving this one as this name here. So let's just do that now. And we'll save this into our code library. And there we go. Now there's a couple of libraries we want to add here. We'll put in the standard Windows library. And we're going to add another library which comes with PowerBasic and is found within the samples internet subfolder. I've put this one into the libraries folder. If we'll load this one up, PB CGI include. We'll be calling some subroutines and functions within this library, but we'll cover them as we reach them. So first thing to do is to do another include. Right, quick save of that. And I compile to make sure we've made no mistakes. We're fine. So what we want to do inside here, when we click on that link on the web page, this application will be executed. Now we want to do something on screen to indicate to the user that all is well. Now one of the functions we can use is a very straightforward function called writeCGI. And all we're going to do with each line is just to basically write out back to the browser a very simple HTML page like so. All this will display is a simple page with just this one paragraph on it. So if we save that, hit the compile button, our program is compiled. What we will do now is we want to copy that into the CGI bin folder. And there is our application in place. So to test that one out, we shall go back to our browser and we'll click on the link. And there we go. Clicking on the link has kicked off the PBCGI test.1 exe and has returned the value we want. So, as easy as that. Right, let's go back and we'll amend our program. And what we want to do now is we want to actually send a value from the page. So let's go back to our application, and what we will do is put a parameter in. Straightforward question mark and then a parameter. Now, how do we pick that up? Well, the first thing we need to do, we'll save this information. We're going to create a local variable to contain the information we're passing over. Now, to get that information, the first thing we want to do is to pick up the parameters. So we'll pick them up into a variable. Now there may well be more than one parameter, so we'll read them into an array, and we'll use a new variable for this one. And we'll use one of the functions in our CGI library. It takes two parameters. X we've already defined. We need to define the array and the P parameter. So this should pick up our array of parameters. Now if we call this and effectively there are no parameters, then P will effectively be 0. So we can test for that. So if we do actually have some parameters, we can step round the list of parameters. Let's create another variable to let us do that. And we'll do a simple for next loop using the ubound statement to work out what the last element in the array actually is. Now we know we're going to be passing a single parameter here. So what we'll do is we'll work on the assumption that there may be more later. So we're going to use a case statement to pick out what the first parameter is, and we will pick up our strinfo is going to be equal to the first parameter. Now the method of getting that is using another function inside that CGI library called decode CGI, which takes the element of our array and picks it up. Now at this point, strinfo should contain the first parameter that's been passed in. So what we can do, we can add that on. So if we compile this now, it's compiling quite cleanly, and we will copy that one over to our web server, replacing the one we had. So let's go back to our web page. We will refresh that. Now, as you'll see from the bottom of the screen, it's calling the application with a question mark and then a single parameter. So we click on that, and it is indeed bringing back, you have reached the CGI app with, and the word test. So there we have passed a single parameter off to the application. Now this is a very simple and very straightforward mechanism to actually handle a CGI application. There's much more you can actually do. One thing we will cover on, which is a useful way of doing things. Rather than saying things a line at a time, you can effectively build up a string and send it as a winner back to the web page. So what we're building up here is we're building it all up in one string. And what we will want to do, we have another library we can actually delve into. File handling one will do nicely. And we will use our append to file. So we will append that to the one file. Now that file doesn't exist yet, so it will create it. And we can then use the stdout command, and we will put in the path to our file. Right, so if we compile that now, and what we missed. Yes, we haven't included the library. Right, try that now. Oh yes. We have to add in the string we're sending. I totally forgot that one. Compiles clean. Copy this in. Go back to our page, refresh it, click on the app, and there we go. It returns exactly the same information. And this time it's returning it from this page here. So we've just scratched the surface of what you can do with CGI apps. That's it for today. Thank you for watching.